Hey everybody, this is Scott aka the CarTech. Today I'll be replacing my the alternator on my mom's 2007 Toyota Camry. Last week my mom's engine started making a funny whirring noise, like a bearing noise or something. I made a video of the noise that it was making and figured out it was the alternator, and then I tested the alternator and found out that it's only putting out about 12 volts. It needs to be replaced. It should be putting out 13 or 14. So that's what we're going to do today. Down in the description are a list of tools that you'll need for this job. This is super easy. It's not nearly as difficult as, say, my 05 Ford Focus was, which took me a really long time to do. I have that video linked down in the description below for that video. Anyway, so let's get started. All right, so let's get started here. We're ready to go. I got my most important little helper. So can you say hi, Jack?
Hi.
This is my son, Jack. He's 3.5. He likes helping Dad, huh? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway, so here's the alternator right here. Super easy to get to. You got just a couple of bolts. You got one right here. And then one down here, but this has got a tensioner, so we got to take off our belt first. So the tensioner's right down here, and then if you look, I can get this in there. So that's it right there. Be like a 19 mil tensioner. These Toyota tensioners are a little bit different than other tensioners, but they're pretty good. So I'm gonna pull this belt off. Give you a closer look at the bolts holding the alternator in. So, all right, ready? Let's do this. All right, so tools we need today. We're gonna need a 14 millimeter. I like to use sockets. We're gonna need 19 millimeter for the belt. We're gonna need 14 millimeter for the top bolt up here. We're gonna need a 12 millimeter for the bottom bolt down here. 10 millimeter for these two on top right here. So we take our 14 millimeters. We take this bolt off. We take the bolt under here. It's down where my finger is that you can't quite see it. Almost, so there it is right there. Then touching. We'll also pull this out like this. Super easy, and then we'll take the 10 millimeter, take that off. 10 millimeter, take this little support off, and then we can pull the alternator out. All right, so the first thing we want to do is we want to disconnect the negative battery terminal. Battery terminal disconnected. Now I'm going to get the belt taken off. All right, we got the belt taken off. You can slip the belt off of this pulley right here. Then you can just pull it off of the, there's no need to really take it all the way off because we only need it off of the alternator panel. This one was easy. This one wasn't so easy. It was on there pretty good, torqued down quite well. And of course we also have to take, this is in here, so this just comes out of here. This part just pulls back, and this little snap piece comes out, and then you can remove your whole harness from there. The bottom bolt wasn't very difficult to break. It only just took a little teeny bit of pressure. All right, so this 14 millimeter was a little bit more difficult to break. So I used my 1 1/8 combo wrench to do it, but you will probably want to support this because now it's free moving and it'll come off after you take the 14 millimeter. I removed the 12 millimeter on bottom first, so I have easier access to the one that's going to come off. So just get ready to support the alternator so that it doesn't damage your wiring harness right here. All right, so I got that bolt out, and it's actually just kind of hanging here, resting on the bottom one. So now I can just coax it a little bit off of here, and I should be able to hopefully be able to just bring it right off of its little bracket right here. This is what's holding it up, but I'm just kind of like coaxing it up and down, not being pulling too hard, just kind of, so there we go. Now now that we got it broken loose, we got our alternator out. And there it is. There's the offending unit. Now I gotta go put it in the box and send it back for my $25 core charge. Yep, genuine Toyota There it is. So as you can see, you got, this is where your bottom bolt goes, and this is where your top bolt goes. The nut that's on this side, as you can see, it sits in a little valley. That's why it doesn't turn. One other thing real quick is you may want to just check the condition of your belt while you're here. Look at look for fraying, look for cracking. If you see cracking and stuff, you're probably just going to replace it anyway because you got it off. All right, one thing I like to do with alternators is just line them side by side and make sure that it's the right one. You can tell that it's definitely the same unit. Definitely looks the same. And then you're gonna have to take this little bracket off. I believe this is an 8mm. An 8mm. And so we want to pull that off and put this on the new unit. So that way it's that way we can just put that wiring harness and just feed it through there. So that way it doesn't risk hitting this and getting overheated and having electrical problems. Got my helper Jack, and he's helping. Can you say hi again? Hi. Okay, you're gonna use your little tool. You got your tool? Uh-huh. All right, go ahead and use your little tool just to get started on that. So I'll have Jack get that, and we'll get this new alternator. All right, I got the bracket on there, and I'm ready to put this back in. So it's just gonna go like this. You might have to do a little bit of coaxing, putting it on the bracket right there. So just don't be super hard with it. Just be gentle, rock it back and forth type stuff. All right, well, I got it back on there, and I was quite wrong. Just because the other one was difficult to take off doesn't mean that this one's very hard to put back on. So I'm hoping that it doesn't make for any issues. And tighten it down. So I'm going to tighten it down. I would say I'm not really sure what the torque is on that. I'll check and see if I can find it. I'll leave it down in the description below. And then once you get it bolted on, just put the bolt in and start threading it, and then get the bottom one started. So that way it's still movable on its axis to be able to get it mounted on the bottom one. I've got both the bolts started. And so this bottom one's pretty easy. You just got to make sure you adjust it. Just go up and down with it until you get it in the threads. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to get this stuff back on here. So I'm going to tighten these up. So for the torque, we got 38 foot-pounds for the 14 mil. Then we got 15 foot-pounds for the 12 mil. 74 inch-pounds for this, and then, excuse me, 74 inch-pounds for this, and then 7 foot-pounds for this. All right, so I got them torqued down, got everything connected, double-checked everything. What I like to do when I torque something down, I like to have someone else double-check it, because I know I've forgotten to tighten bolts before on cars, and that just gives me an extra process, or just an extra way to avoid errors and costly mistakes. So now we got to get this belt back on. So we'll get that back on, and then we'll start it just to check. I got the belt back on. One thing to note: when you take the belt off, you probably want to write down a diagram of it, so that way you don't have to look it up later. That's just a good rule of thumb, I think. And then you want to, before you start it, you want to make sure the belt's back on there securely, that all the ribs are in the right places, that it's on all the pulleys it's supposed to be. It has the right routing, and everything looks good before you try and start it. And what I usually do is I just try to bump start it. I just start the engine real quick, and then just turn it off really quick, and then check it, make sure everything looks good, so that way I don't damage anything on the car or risk damaging the belt. So one final thing before I start the car, I just got to reconnect the negative battery terminal, and things didn't blow up, so must be okay. So anyways, I'm gonna tighten this down, and then I'm gonna do my bump start. All right, thing appears to be back the way it was. Things looking good. this end, that belt's running good. Vehicle's doing this thing. Just took our dash lights. We don't have the battery light on, and so everything on that end looks really good. All right, that's it. We got our new alternator in. Everything's put back together. Everything's back the way it was. Got it torqued down. We got it the belt on, nice and tight. Anyways, make sure you hit that comment section below if you have any questions. You know, let me know what you think. Comments, anything, feedback is much appreciated. And I just want to say thank you so much for watching. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button and the subscribe button, and I'll see you next time.